3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Hey everybody, and welcome to another installment of the College Esports Update. I am your host, Norris Howard. I'm joined alongside my intrepid crew from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, as well as Coach Adam Antor, as always. But starting off, we're going to hop right into Rocket League as their spring championships came to a conclusion last week, and Dominic Shotson is going to give us the lowdown. Dom, so you've been tracking Rocket League all season long. You are a main man in the space, and we finally have us a champion, but not the one that everybody expected. Akron ended up winning out, not Northwood as everybody originally anticipated. Tell us, Dom, what went down last week that caused a very unlikely finals to go down?
Yeah, so we started off with the Eastern and Western Conference brackets the 2 days before the finals, and everything seemed status quo on those days. Northwood ran through their conference, including Akron, twice. And then in the West, you had UNC running through their conference, including LSU twice. And those are the four teams that qualified for the finals. So UNC won in the West, LSU 2, and Northwood won in the East, and Akron 2. And, you know, we just look at what you said. Everyone was expecting Northwood to just run through again because they've been dominant all season. They were dominant in the Eastern Conference bracket. And then, you know, they run into a buzzsaw, weirdly enough, in LSU. It was very, very surprising, to say the least, because they didn't just go down in like a long set. They went down 5-1 to LSU. Only winning one match in the set was, you know, nobody could have guessed that. You could have guessed a loss, maybe like an upset, but just the way they went down was very surprising.
It was, and it was a complete dominant performance from LSU on all facets of the game, all sides of the ball. The midfield was great. The attack was great. I was incredible. The defending from LSU versus Northwood is what really, you know, sort of stuck out to me, because when they would kind of force an overtime or they would force those really intense late match showdowns, I mean, Northwood would throw everything they had at LSU, and they just couldn't break them down. It just was not possible for Northwood. So LSU ended up moving on to the finals, where they would face Akron, who made pretty quick work of their semifinal. Let's be perfectly honest here. And, you know, Akron, to their credit, LSU was coming in. Everybody was anticipating that this was going to be a close match, considering how well LSU played against Northwood. But that was not the case either, was it, Dom?
No, unfortunately for LSU, I think that, you know, we were watching it, we were talking as it played out. They looked gassed. I feel like you beat Northwood, and that was like, everyone was like, that's the team right there that's going to win it all. And I feel like that was their championship at that point, right? You know, like you've seen like teams like, say like you beat the Patriots before you make it to the Super Bowl, and then maybe you lose, you know, against or something. Like you feel like you took out the big dog, and then maybe you drop your guard, or maybe you're just exasperated from just getting the win that nobody expected you to get. And Akron came in, they were ready. They also had a little bit more time to get ready for who they were playing, because they played in the first match, and you know they beat LSU 5-1 in their set, and it wasn't really close. Akron looked dominant the entire time, whereas at least with the Northwood versus LSU series, you could say there was 4 overtime games in that series. This one wasn't close, unfortunately.
No, it wasn't, but we will congratulate Akron as the champions for this semester of College Rocket League, regaining their title from Northwood. They're now the winningest program in College Rocket League. And, you know, much word out to especially Buzz and Tristan, who really showed up over the course of the semifinals and the finals and completely dominated LSU and UNT. So we want to thank those guys for doing very well. And congratulations to them once more. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the College Esports Update. And listen, C-Law, College League of Legends, is still going on. That bracket is tightening up, and some of the big names have already advanced, and a few other ones have dropped off. We're bringing on Erica and Coach to talk a little bit more about C-Law. So I want to start off with Erica. How did this round of the playoffs go down. Who do we have still left in the mix?
Okay, this weekend was filled with nail-biting performances. It certainly had me at the edge of my seat. It had the Twitch chat at the edge of their seats and the casters. I do want to congratulate the 8 teams that are moving forward. That would be Toronto, Maryville, Winthrop, Harrisburg, Buffalo, Illinois State, Columbia, and Bethany. Congratulations, you guys. You worked hard. I do want to talk about also the teams that went 2-1 against their opponents. Those games were extremely close. All of the teams actually played reactively towards their opponents. Winthrop played extremely well against the Highlanders, which from last week, as we remember, the Highlanders were the upset against Grandview. They showed the same level of mechanical swagger against the Winthrops, and as Emery stated in her interview last week, Winthrop is able to adapt, overcome, and become stronger, and they certainly showed that in that game. The next team I want to talk about are Buffalo and Columbia. Those games were amazing. They were quick on their feet, and they were voted in, so they really proved their worth these games. Buffalo went against Illinois State, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, and they did not hold back. Buffalo gave an aggressive game plan this matchup. They had excellent jungle rotations, which I feel like are very important in big league games. Junglers are really the balance between who wins and who gets carried, who gets fed, and who loses. And Buffalo really, really performed well. Colombia and AS... Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I definitely want to just take the moment and throw it to Coach, because Coach, you've been talking about this Bethany team really since the start of the season, and they're now in the quarterfinals alongside the rest of the teams that Erica just talked about. You know, what was it about Bethany that let you know that this was a team that was going to make a deep run into this playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, we knew Bethany had the talent. They kind of bursted into the scene this year with some really talented players. It was a team that we've been watching and looking out for the entire season. I became skeptical after the loss that they suffered during the regular season, but this week they came back, they made a statement, and they absolutely deserve a spot in this top 8, maybe even top 4. I'm really excited to see how they perform in the next round.
Yeah, and moving forward with that, I want to ask both of you guys, looking at the teams that are left, obviously Maryville and Harrisburg are 2 favorites, but what is a sleeper team, if you guys had to take a crack at it, that you think might actually be making this Final Four, or maybe even getting into the finals depending on the seeding? So first I want to start with Coach. What's the team that you think could sneak in?
You know what? I don't know if Maryville lets a team sneak in, although I think Bethany takes the win this next round against Toronto, which I think is a strong win for them. I don't think they beat Maryville, so that's how that goes. But you look on the other side of the bracket, and I think you see Winthrop taking out Buffalo, and then the other match, I'm looking at Illinois State beating Harrisburg. I think this Illinois State looks really strong, this team from Illinois State. Then I see Illinois State winning and getting into the final match against Maryville. That's what I see as the finals. It's going to be a repeat of the finals of the North Conference.
All right, and Erica, for you, what are some of the paths to the finals that you see?
I'm kind of on par with Coach, except I really feel like Columbia is going to outshine their game with ASU, really threw viewers for a loop. They really showed superior rotations and team composition, and they knew how to play their picks. I also believe that the last 2 teams are going to be Harrisburg and Maryville, because those are really strong teams with really strong players.
All right, well, there you have it from our experts in the league scene. Thank you so much, Erica and Coach, for joining us on that one. And we're going to have more coming from Rainbow Six Siege coming up. Hey, everybody, welcome back. The College Esports update rolls along, and we bring back Sebastian Rooney to talk a little bit more about Rainbow Six Siege. Sebastian, what do we got going on?
Well, first I want to say I made a mistake last week saying Louisiana Lafayette was the team to make the Open League Finals, and instead it was Tulsa. They were the 14th ranked team to make it to the Open League Finals.
Thank you very much for that clarification. Now, we get into the big dance. What went down?
All right, so in the Premier League Finals, I wish there was a finals, because Purdue did not show up whatsoever. There was a best-of-5 series, and a total of, they got swept 3-0, and across 3 maps, they got 3 rounds. It was embarrassing, to say the least, for Purdue. Like, it was, I really wish Purdue came out at least with something, but no disrespect to Akron, they played their hearts out. They proved why they are the number one Premier League team in all of Collegiate R6. And this just goes to add to their many accolades they already have.
Yeah, absolutely. Akron once again proving that they are a force to be reckoned with and arguably the best esports school this semester nationwide. So, Sebastian, after all is said and done with that finals, you were one of the ones that said Akron was going to be a force to be reckoned with. Was there a team throughout the entire year that you felt very disappointed by through it all?
But I would say UGA, but you all know what happened with them. I expected them to make a pretty good run. They were good all year, but what happened, and they ended up shooting themselves in the foot and getting themselves kicked out of Premier League. And it's unfortunate, but yeah, I think they're just not only on gameplay but off not in game, they were a big disappointment just because of what happened with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Sebastian, thank you so much for that update, and we want to congratulate Akron again for winning another big championship. And that's going to be it for the College Esports update. Again, we thank all of our contributors and our entire team here for providing us with this wonderful information. And don't forget to also check out Checkpoint on Campus, our sister show, where we're going to have some really cool interviews with some of these championship teams and players, and also give you some more information on what's happening over the summertime. So with that said, for everybody here at Checkpoint on Campus and the College Esports Update, I'm your host, Norris Howard, and we'll catch y'all next week. See you later.